Welcome, everyone. Eilers-Heffner here, Sapphire Ambassador with Plexus. We are working on the first kind of section of level 4 in the 5 levels of leadership. And I really love that we're able to get on, discuss, look at, and evaluate where we're at, and then know like what the goal is as to where we're going, like what those objective measurements are. So Steve, I know you're working a full-time job. I got a lot of PTs and OTs already on, and Nicole's really good at setting objectives for her own goals in her life, whatever that is. And I love that we can measure up to some solid, like, this is what a leader is and does and behaves and acts and whatever. Because as therapists, we have like criteria, like, what kind of PT are you? Like, this is the role. These are the goals of a therapist. Are you meeting them? It's like a yearly thing where we measure up. Are you meeting these expectations of your job? And this is kind of are we meeting the expectations of our job in Plexus? But one of the other amazing things is that we can learn and we can earn every step of the way, no matter where we're starting in our leadership level. So super awesome. And, at first, honestly, I was like, wow, this is heavy. Like, this is a lot of stuff. Like, this is a lot to live up to. And as we've gotten more and more into the book, I'm just more and more excited. Like, this is great. Like, this gives me what I need to do and what I need to continue to do. And, I'm actually okay at doing that. And okay, let's do the next step. And I was even talking to some of my leaders that, you are developing these tasks as a leader. And I really firmly, I've mentioned this before in this book club, but I firmly believe that we do have characteristics of each level of leadership, and we are developing the things that we're lacking as we go. Okay. I don't feel like in Plexus, it is like level 1, level 2, like you're all or nothing. I do feel that as we're emerging and as we're developing, it's kind of like child development, like legit gross motor childhood development, is that you will have mixed skills. Kids will have mixed skills, and then they end up being this fully functioning, walking, talking human being, right? Like toddler, young child. And it's these mixed skills that all come together and keep working. And as we work and grow and have new experiences, then it gives us more opportunity to develop these other leadership skills. So super awesome. And I love that he really hones in on, you can replace line workers every day, but to develop leaders and to invest in people, you're always going to be a winner. And they're always going to be a winner. Like, that is the long and short of this whole thing. And it also, with Plexus, like, we aren't developing the product. We're not developing a customer service. We don't have to ship. We don't have to store, we don't have to store our ProBio 5 at the exact right temperature in this huge warehouse and regulate the temp. Like, we don't have to worry about all these logistics, because the owners of a company, if we had a brick and mortar supplement shop, if the air conditioning goes out and it's 114 degrees outside, there's going to be problems with our supplements. That isn't something we have to worry about. We get to focus on people, our joins, our workers, our leaders, our potential people out there. We get to focus on the people and not all of these other little things, right? It really allows us to focus on that. And that's huge. Like, that is amazing, right? Like, praise the Lord that we are not having to focus on, oh my gosh, did the air go out at my building? What am I going to do? And then we also just have so much training and support in this team, in our team page, and from our corporate pushing out this whole momentum meetup thing. Like, it's awesome that they're like, hey, you guys are leaders, go and lead something. And our team, Pink Power, Rock Your Purpose, like, we have a ton of training, but that isn't the case for everyone. To see our big company, our Plexus company, saying, here's the tools to go do a training with your team. We just got back from Ruby Retreat. Like, let me tell you, that is training. That is training. Watch those recordings, get those in your head, rewatch them every 6 months or something. And okay, so now what? Okay, who is it that I need to develop? Who are the people I'm looking for? You're looking for people that are eager to learn. You're looking for people that have a strong work ethic. You're looking for people that are successful in their life and that they're busy because they know how to get things done. Okay, that is who you're looking for. And I have often heard, well, she doesn't need money, or she's really busy working a full-time job. Well, guess what? I didn't need money and I didn't need another job. I had a great job. I had a fabulous job. I made a lot of money as a PT, and PTs make a solid income. I worked a premium job, so I made a lot more than my other therapist on this call. And it was great. I made great money. And I was super busy. My kids were 1 up to 7 when I started my business, you guys. Like, that is a busy life. And I found a way to get it done. So those are the people that you're looking for. Those are the people that you want to develop, people that have a positive outlook on life, that are producing in their life. They're already producers. Okay. And then when it just says, like he was saying, that if we fail to upgrade our workers, so if we fail to develop people on our team, then you're really being competitive with your capital, and you can't replicate capital. So we can't replicate products. Like, yes, we're product driven, but we want to make that shift to be more leadership driven and to be people development driven, so that we're not just gambling on our Plexus products, right? We want to be investing in our people. And that we cannot replicate that dedication, teamwork. Like, we really just want to develop these people, and that's going to be worth 1,000 leaders. Like, it's so worth it. He talks about the spinning plates and how if we are the ones trying to do all the plate spinning, if I am doing everything that the team needs, it's not sustainable, not in a healthy way. And he talks about that later. I'm going to talk about that again in a little bit, but we want our businesses to be sustainable. And when we are developing people, then it is sustainable. Fallon talked a lot about this at Ruby Retreat, and she has 7 level 1 jewels and diamonds. And there are stages of people going through life. Okay. But she has a sustainable business because she has developed all of these people. And then she kind of cycles through who she can help, because everyone is in a different spot at a different moment, right? So, okay, Brittany's team needs some help. Okay, I'm going to go help Brittany figure that out. Okay, she's good. Well, wait, now I need to come over here and help Cody's team. Like, she's over here developing her people and continuing to develop her people. And her goal is for all of her level 1s to be level 5-star diamonds, right? So she is still working on the people development side, versus let me go and do a whole nother bunch of recruiting. Not that she doesn't recruit, like, do not put words in my mouth. She is recruiting, she is doing the things, but her passion right now is to even more deeply develop people so that her level 1s can have what we have. Okay. And that makes everything very sustainable in our business. It makes the workload sustainable in all that we do. And we try to keep things simple, like wash, rinse, repeat, talk to your people, troubleshoot their problems, cast a big vision so that they want to have income as well, so that they can have life-changing income, so that they can have job replacing income and have that time freedom. And then if you haven't prioritized this, it's okay. It doesn't matter. You can start now. If you have not worked on developing people, does not matter. You can do it now. And you're all here on this call. You all have a successful business, right? Like, if you're getting a paycheck, that is a successful business. And it's only going to grow and get better because you're going to apply everything that you're learning, and it's just going to snowball, right? And so you have a successful business. So now working on your people development is going to take everything to the next level. And there's no harm. Like, you have nothing to lose, you guys. This is awesome. It's not like we have to go invest $100,000 in a brick and mortar place, or even $500 in a whole line of clothing or something. Like, we have nothing to lose when we're investing in people. And I already talked about that. Okay. And then I really like what he said. The test of a leader. What happens if the leader is not present? What's going on? If the leader is not present, then what happens? Like, that's more important to look at and think about. Like, if a leader disappears, is a team growing and going and doing the things, or do they stop because the leader stops? So when you are developing people, then your business is going to continue to go, should you need to take 3 days off to go move your house or whatever, so it's okay. Like, it's awesome to think about it like that, and to think in those that's a sustainable business too, when you can step back and imagine, okay, if I didn't talk to my leaders for 3 weeks, what would happen? Right? Not that you should do that. Like, do not do that. But imagine what would be happening should something like that happen. What would your leaders be doing? I think that's a great challenge to ourselves to think about, and think how we're developing our people now, even no matter what level you're at. Think about that from that term, and see what you think is going to happen should you, be silent for a couple weeks, So anyway, and that was actually talked about at Leaders Retreat too. This is just kind of an aside, not Leaders Ruby Retreat, but like, okay, life is going to happen to all of us. Everyone's going to have life, that is going to happen. And, it's okay to take like 3 days. Okay, you're moving. It's going to take 3 days to get that rest of that packing done, the unpacking, the whatever, get the essentials undone, and then you got to get back into touching your business every day. So at least something, sit there in the boxes and do 30 minutes of IPA. Your business can look differently during different stages of life and different situations that are happening, but we want to, especially as leaders, have a finger on the pulse of our business and be touching our business in some way every single day. Okay. And then providing trains, opportunity, tools, resource, we have that. Like, I don't know, we are constantly, your leaders are constantly thinking, okay, what else can we do? What else do we need to talk about? Okay, what's this call going to look like? What do our leaders need to hear? Okay, we need to look at these incentives this month. Like, this is a huge deal. Like, how can we best make sure people understand this so that we don't let any opportunity slip through anyone's fingertips? Okay. The law of the buy-in just came up to me when I was preparing, like the law of the buy-in. I brought this up with one of my leaders this week, and I'm like, okay, watch this video on the law of the buy-in until you can get to reading the book. And I literally just pulled up the 21 irrefutable laws of leadership. And the law of the buy-in is people buy into the leader and then the vision. So let that marinate for a minute. We buy into the leader. We buy into the person before we ever are going to buy into any sort of vision. Okay. And so that definitely is worth perusing. Get this book, work on reading a chapter a week or something. Excellent book. This was actually like the very first team thing I ever did. Even before I ever made a post, I got involved with this book club. So let that be inspiring, right? And I still feel like we could reread it. It's a book that Brittany Howard refers to. She said every time she reads it, she gets something else out of it. And I think she's read it like 7 or 8 times, like a lot. So we can always learn from our Uncle John here. Okay. And then the more leaders that you have, then the more excitement and the more growth. Like, everyone can feed off of that energy, So if you're like, gosh, I don't know, like, it's kind of quiet, then go get recruiting so that you have more people to talk to and get them excited. And that excitement is going to create FOMO for those that are maybe haven't been producing or doing as much or as consistent with their IPA or whatever the case may be. It does also help create that FOMO. So that excitement is a huge deal. And when you have team excitement and leader excitement, it just bleeds so much into the whole team, and especially our personal individual teams too. So that also just means we have more strengths to pull from. So kind of going into the Strength Finder stuff, Rochelle Furman was really telling us a lot about the Strength Finder stuff at Ruby Retreat, and it just came up on Ruby Coaching before this call, the Strength Finders, and people are loving it. It's like really insightful, great things to hear about the Strength Finder. So I feel like, oh my gosh, it just makes sense. The more leaders we have, the more people we have pulling into this, the more strengths that we have to pull from and lean in on, right? Like Jackie is like the logistics queen, the stuff that I can do, but takes me, in my opinion, way too long and forever and is tedious. And I don't like to have to use that part of my brain in that fashion for that long. She whips it out. I'm like, how did you do that? Like, I'm always amazed, you know? And so I love that we can pull from one another's strengths. It's so valuable. And you just think, oh my gosh, if I have 5 level 1 diamonds, look at the strengths that we would have to pull from on our team. Like, look at the trainings that we could provide. You know, it's so exciting to me. That's exciting to think about. 80% rule. So how do I know what I can delegate? How do I know what I can do? So yes, this is important in our business. I think for some of you, you might be thinking, well, I just have to do stuff. Like, what do I have to delegate? So then think about it from in your home. So can my kids clean the bathroom 80% as well as I can? Yes. Okay. That's their job. You know, like delegate that on. And that done is better than perfect. So moving from that perfectionism into being more pragmatic is super important. You know, like sometimes my graphics are fine, sometimes they suck, but it doesn't matter, right? A graphic is not going to make or break our business over here, you know? So done is better than perfect, and shifting away from this perfectionist mindset is really important. And if you struggle with that, like, I'm right there with you. And then developing people is growing us. I loved that. So our purpose in life is not to just win. It is to grow and to learn, and winning is fun too. There's nothing wrong with winning, but I told my daughter this and my son, they both had a race a few weeks ago now. Actually, it was on our anniversary. And just the way they raced was so exciting. They didn't run their fastest times. They both did achieve like the top whatever, which was Ella got a medal and Jack got a ribbon, which was equivalent to a medal because they were limited. And I love that race. Like, that was my favorite race to date. I'm hoping state meet on Saturday is different for Ella again, you know, that kind of intensity, but I could see it in them, how excited that they were to go after that achievement, to go after that goal. And they could have jogged through the finish line and been first place, and it would not have been as exciting as seeing what actually happened, which was to see them race well and to be competitive and to set the goal and to not give up and have that mental toughness the entire race. So it's, you know, there's nothing wrong with winning, but how are you running the race? How are you running the race? That matters too. And then he just was talking about having a high level of maturity, not focusing on ourselves. One, when you're focusing on yourself, then your team is going to feel that and it's not good. But when you shift to how can I help you achieve? What is your goal? How can I help you? Then everybody gets what they want, especially in this business. But it's just so important to keep that in mind. Insecure leaders will feel that somebody is going to take their place. Well, here's the thing with Plexus. There is room at the top for every single one of us. You know what? Plexus will get a bigger stage. I've seen them get a bigger stage. Okay. Because I can achieve Sapphire doesn't mean that there isn't a place for someone else to not achieve Sapphire. They can do it too. And so this is why we're here. We're here to say, I did this, you can do it too. You have seen others do it. You've seen Fallon become a 5-star diamond. Like, let's go for it. It's possible, right? Let's do it. So, and then just acknowledging, like, we don't have all the answers. I don't think anyone on here really struggles with that. You know what? I am really not sure, but let me get back with you. I'm going to figure that out for you. And not letting ego get in the way, right? That's important. You can read about that on your own. And then not afraid to make mistakes, because when we make mistakes, we learn. And thankfully, there's nothing really, no one's going to die in network marketing. No one's going to die in Plexus because of a mistake that we make, right? Like, maybe somebody's pooping their brains out because they're taking too much BioCleanse or something. Like, that is a mistake. And I can guarantee you won't make it again. You're going to be following up with your people because they are not happy with you, right? That is going to be a memorable mistake and help you move on. So leadership mistakes, done them. And I've learned, okay, don't do that again, right? Like, you learn from those mistakes. Trust, earning trust and not taking it for granted. when we lose trust with people, we have to work on regaining that trust. And that is okay. Like, we regain trust in other relationships all of the time. And we can do that with our team too. It's not a one and done. Oh, you screwed up, your trust is forever broken, forget it. I've written you off. That is not how this works. It shouldn't that way. And anyway, and if someone is acting like that, then they don't belong on your team anyway. The easier to do it myself mentality, that's very short-sighted. Again, it's an immaturity kind of standpoint. And we are looking for a return on investment. We're looking for that. We're not looking for me to work myself into the grave. We're looking for a return on investment. And this comes true in our team. It comes true in our home life, like, how can I help someone else take some ownership of something so that there is return on investment overall? Like, I got 4 kids. If we all work hard and do a few of the jobs, the whole house can be clean in a fraction of the time that it would take me. And if they all do 80% as good as I can do, then guess what? I can go back and spend 20 minutes kind of sprucing it up the rest of the way. And it's like a win-win-win-win-win. Everybody wins. So keeping that in mind too. So if you feel like that's not something that you have in your business right now, then think about it in your home life and think how that can apply to then free up your time to do more of your business. And then it's easy for a leader to have a following. Just, okay, these people follow me, I'm a positional one. But it takes a lot of time and effort and sacrifice to develop leaders. And that's okay. We're managing that expectation right now. Like, reading this book is like, okay, that's a lot, but it's not unachievable. And as we work at it a little bit at a time and apply the next thing and the next best step and the next best thing with our team, then we do end up coming out on top. Like, it just becomes second nature to us. So, and our goal, working ourselves out of the job, again, kind of already touched on that. But making sure we're doing that. And I love this. Will you lose your job by developing others, or will you lose it because you didn't develop others? So think about that. Like, if we are not developing leaders, and people in our network, people in our business already want to be developed and they want this opportunity, they just don't know it yet, they're going to go somewhere else because they didn't get the support that they had with us. And so take that seriously. Like, people leave and go wherever because they think that they're going to, there's lots of reasons for that to happen, but we never want the reason of them leaving to because we didn't put the effort into developing them, right? There we go. So that's what I have for you. And I'd love to hear what you guys have to say too.
Okay, so I'm going to say some truth here, and this is hard. One of the things I struggle with, and in fact, I've got my lovely daughter sitting here with me. She can attest to this, is I know I can do things quicker, faster, better than she can, right? So even just this morning, she wanted to make pancakes for breakfast. She's completely capable, but she's going to make a mess. I love her, but I know she's going to make a mess. And we're in a hurry. We had things to do today. So, but I was like, you know what, Jack, if I don't give her the opportunity to learn and grow and do these things, pancakes my whole life. She says, I've been making pancakes my whole life. Yeah. Rochelle understands this. Anybody with kids understands this, right? So I'm like, you know what, if I don't give her the opportunity to do this, all I'm doing is showing her that I can do it better, quicker, faster, and all of that than her. And I'm not allowing her the opportunity to learn, grow, and feel accomplished. And so often it's so easy for us to get in our 3-way chats and just spout off because we know this stuff versus going back into the 3-way chats with that person and our sponsor to help coach that person so they can coach that person better and work on those things. So that's definitely something that I've had to stop and think about on a regular basis, both in my personal life and in my business life, because if I just do things for people, I'm really stealing an opportunity for them, and that's not fair for any of us. So that's definitely one of the places that I know that I'm working intentionally on growing.
The struggle is real. Oh, it's so hard to let the kids like fail and then, make the mess and then attempt to clean up the mess or leave it. And then you have to discipline. And then your job as a parent becomes harder. And yes, it goes, oh, it's the struggle's real, but also real in the business because I know I'm guilty of going into the three-way chats as well and trying to be too helpful, or it's just easier instead of just waiting and for my L1 to answer the question in their three-way chat. It's just easier. So that is something that I continuously work on as well. So that way they can develop and become a better leader too. So yeah, the struggle's real. There's that balance there for sure.
I like too the quote that he had, and I put it up in my stories too. The purpose of life is not to win. The purpose of life is to grow and to share. When you come to look back on all that you've done in life, you'll get more satisfaction from the pleasure you have brought into other people's lives than you will from the times that you outdid and defeated them. And I mean, that goes for so many things in this business, in so many things. And even right now, it's end of quarter and our kids are having parent teacher conferences, and grades might not be what we want at times, but we've helped our kids as much as we can and given them the tools to be successful. And if we just as parents go in and do their homework for them, or do their tests or do those things, we haven't given them the tools too. So I think it's so important to look at those things and know that it's not about the winning. It's about the process and helping people, and how many people have we helped in the process. And that's for faith, that's for business, that's for parenting, for life in general. So I just thought that was really powerful.
Jackie, I'm going to jump on that because we had our last senior conference today, because we don't do them in the spring unless they're failing. And so I will tell you that it felt so good to have her counselor just be like, Addie, just, pop your mom through that slideshow. It's all good. I'm not sure you even had to be here. Like, she just was so excited to have a student that didn't need any direction. Just come in, because it's all like student-led conferences in high school. And I have worked myself out of job. I couldn't do her homework if I tried at this point, whether it's her French or her chemistry, or forget even whatever the math is that she's doing. And it feels amazing in that sense as a parent. And my post today was about, being a mom for 27 years. And I love that same feeling when something clicks with someone who's sharing new, or when it clicks when people are just taking their products the way that we suggest to them is the best way to do it. When it clicks with someone that they've now been consistent for 9 days and are beginning to see those things that you said would begin to happen at the 60 to 90 day mark. So I love that one. And the one quote that I circled a couple different times as I was reading through it was, the mark of someone with potential to grow is the openness to the process. There's been a lot of self-reflection in myself going on over the last couple of months, especially as I walk into, quote, the empty nester portion of life. And I'm still learning and growing. I'm super thankful, got to get on a coaching call with Fallon and Rochelle today, and just so blessed to have both those women want to answer my questions, which still feels silly 5 years in. Sometimes I'm like, is that how that, and to have them both just pour from their experience and from their love for wanting to help me be a better person and a better leader. So yes, I think I've worked myself out of the homework part of life, but now it's on to the bigger, the businessy side of things. So I love that, Jackie. That's awesome.
I found a couple of things that I scribbled down and then skipped over them when I was talking, but I love how he said the leader is the servant who removes the obstacles that prevent people from doing their jobs. And I love that we have that opportunity. So this ties into the other thought that I had. So I've been really trying hard to not trying, I am diligently coaching my team. And I end that conversation or somewhere towards the end, like, what is it that you need from me to continue on in your business? Like, what is it you need from me? What are you lacking from me? And that is not always an easy thing to ask, because it's like, it's like, oh my gosh, like, what if I miss something? Or what if they think I'm this or that? Like, that's kind of a vulnerable statement to have as a leader. And I have found that my team is so sweet and loving, and they're appreciative of everything that we've done and worked on and stuff. So it's gone very, very well. And then the other thing is I think about like obstacles at my 9 to 5, at my PT job, the obstacles in our way. And oftentimes we were told, okay, I will put in a submission and maybe in the next 2 years, we'll get you more walkers. Like, for real, anyway, it's like, oh, I'm sorry, that's an obstacle. You're going to have to deal with it. You're going to have to jump that hurdle. I don't know what to tell you. Like, not all of the time, but there wasn't as much collaboration. There wasn't this, oh my gosh, the nurses are telling you that, the nurse managers are saying that, like, let me figure this out for you so you can go focus on patient care. And it was really interesting. There was even a time that our old manager, not our current manager, wanted us, so if we saw a nurse doing something wrong, whatever, that we were supposed to confront the nurse and tell the nurse manager. And I am like, you're on crack. Like, that is not okay. That is not my job. That sets me up to have a stressful relationship with that nurse for forevermore. Like, no, nurse managers need to do their job and make sure their nurses are acting right. Like, crazy. So anyway, I digress, but I love that with Plexus, with what we're doing with our team, we can say, okay, what are the obstacles? Like, what can I remove for you? Like, sometimes people just have to work through stuff, but we are in a great opportunity as leaders. And this goes, this is forevermore. I don't care if you have one person on your team right now, you can remove some sort of obstacle for them. I don't know how to take my products. Okay, let me send you the chart again. Let me crop the chart, crop the startup guide. So all it has is day 1, day 2, day 3, like just that. Here you go. Like, we can remove obstacles for people. We have that ability to work on that instead of, well, sorry, don't know what to tell you. You're going to have to jump that hurdle on your own, So really interesting, but I did really love that. And I can't believe I skipped it.
I agree. And I'm glad you said that too. That was kind of what I was thinking too. And a lot of it too is I love how in our business, as we try to help our team, whether it's being more consistent or whatever it is, I like the strengths finders idea, but just helping them find their strengths too and pulling out, okay, well, you're having a hard time being consistent. Well, do you have the strength to recognize that you need to do the water, and problem solving where in their day they can put it? Okay, well, you're really consistent once you set up the system in place. Like, what can we help you do and set up? And, calling these things out, like, how to do this, let's try that, whatever it is. And just helping them find it and being encouraging so that we can problem solve where they need the assistance. Same thing as you're helping your team. Okay, you are really great about reaching out to people and helping them being consistent on your team. Like, let's use that strength to continue to help your level 2 in whatever situation you're having. Because sometimes it's hard for people to see themselves through like the label of the ketchup bottle. If you were, inside of it, you can't read the label from the outside sometimes. That, you're good at this, so let's pull that out and just recognize it. So then you're like, oh yeah, I am really good at that. Let's use that.
Well, and I think too, as leaders, we need to make sure that we're recognizing the strengths that our other leaders have and calling them out on that and encouraging them to post about it, tell about it, do things about that, feel good about those things and build. Because that, I mean, what's more exciting than when you start to see that growing? I mean, nobody likes to be told they're doing a bad job, right? But let's say I have somebody who is really great at recruiting, but maybe not so great at retention. Okay, I could say, hey, Melissa, you're fantastic at recruiting. You connect so well with people on that level. Can you explain to me a little bit more how you do that? Can you help me be better at this? Can you put some posts in the team pages? Can you do some videos about these things? Because you have this incredible strength with this, and then, I see, maybe your retention isn't as strong as your recruiting. I've seen a great video that Elizabeth did on recruiting. Can you check out this video and see, where you may relate to this or how we can help you with this? So making sure that we're using those strengths, empowering people in their strengths, and then referring back to how we can circle back with that is really important.
Yeah, I love that. I wanted to touch base on the 80% rule. And I'm trying to watch my baby and make sure he does not knock over this diffuser and all these books that are sitting here. He's not in bed yet. So here I am. But anyways, the 80% is so important. And Elizabeth, you already touched on it. And of course, you and I have had multiple conversations about that over the years. And it is so true. Like, I think that, and also, so the 80%, but also the perfectionist versus pragmatic, whatever it said in there. The perfectionist stuff, it's got to go, you guys. Like, my mom is not on here tonight, but she was always a perfectionist with things like with the house and how it was had to be cleaned and all of the things. And of course, I'm the oldest, so I got all of the, you didn't do that right, redo it. And the younger siblings didn't have that as much as what I did. So anyways, but what I was going to say, as far as our Plexus businesses go, like, Elizabeth, you mentioned the graphic. It's the same thing with our posts. I know some people on my team, I've had so many different conversations over the years, but different people, they get hung up on, I don't know what to post. And does this wording sound good? And I don't know if this wording sounds good. Listen, don't get hung up on all of this stuff. Just say what is on your heart. Like, there's going to be a purpose in it for somebody somewhere. And guess what? If you say something that maybe somebody might not like, Jackie has come to me before. I don't even remember what it was, but it was a couple years ago. And she was like, I don't know that this sounds the best. And I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't even mean it like that. But different people see things differently. And so as a friend, she came to me and she said this, and I'm like, I'm going to go ahead and change those words on that. And so we can do that for our friends as well. And just don't get wrapped up in this perfectionist state. It's just post, because it's like, just do something. It's okay. You're not going to get everything done. Just do something. And that can go with anything, right? Like, you don't get to get your hour-long workout in. Great. Do a 15-minute workout, like, you don't get to get a shower, get the baby wipes out. Like, just do something over here, Okay.
I think that's almost just like implementing the slight edge with what we're asking new people to do, right? We do not ask someone the day they order, even if they are open to the question of, will you share this, if you see some great things happening, even if they're open to that, we wouldn't day one be like, okay, and now tomorrow, I want you to reach out to 3 people and hop in your back up. Like, there's an expectation that growth has to be fed at the rate that the person is willing to be coached. And I think sometimes we who are trying to help others to their potential can forget that not everybody sees that potential in themselves yet. And so I I remember the first time Rochelle asked me to make a post in Pink Power. This was before there was a Rock Your Purpose page. And I was like, I'm sorry, what? Like, I don't think I was even gold yet. I think it was somewhere between silver and gold. And I was like, and you're like, you write amazing. People need to hear your words. And I was like, oh, okay. Post, like, but she had to meet me where I was. She didn't ask me on day 3 while I was detoxing to, you know, share my story and all the things. So I guess, you know, meeting people where they are, feeding into their belief for them is so super important. And the part where he talks about the downside, my challenge to you with this book, and it's something I've been trying to do as I go through it, is take that downside and look at what the exact opposite of those words means. So just flip it around so that you can see what you should be doing, not the not thing that is the downside of it. So anyway, I just love that. Just slight edge your way through all the things, even if it's putting one dish from the sink into the dishwasher tonight before you go to bed, if that's all you're up to.
Yes, the slight edge for the love. It's just the best thing ever. Just do those little tiny things. And you do write so nicely. I was going to say something and I forgot, you guys. Oh my gosh, it was something, Elizabeth, you had typed it in the chat. Oh, pushing people a little bit. I'm going to say this and I'm going to mute myself again because I cannot think right now. But pushing people to do things is really important. And I was just talking about this with Nicole and Fallon today. I remember in the beginning, I was not trying to build a business and go to Diamond. I was just trying to get my products paid for. Little did I know what God had in store for my business and that I would be a Sapphire and on my way to Diamond. Like, I just had no idea, but he did. But I remember Fallon saying something about, oh, well, when you get to Emerald or whatever, and I'm going, who said anything about me going to Emerald? I told you I want to get my products paid. Emerald, that's like crazy talk over there. But she had that, so that kind of goes back to belief, which is not what we're talking about. But it does go along with the pushing our people to do the things and to maybe just even vision cast with them. That goes into that too, right? Vision casting for our people. We can see that they're a hard worker. We can see that they do those good posts, whatever the case may be. Ties in with what you were saying, Nicole, and what you were saying earlier, Jackie.
And I think it's important too, excuse me, because a lot of us have had life things and life isn't going to stop. And there are going to be hard times and there are going to be times where we may not feel like doing as much stuff, but you can't stop. And if you have stopped, start back up, do the little things, make a post, do a post every day, reach out to one person on your team, keep following up. Just because things have happened doesn't mean you can't restart. You know, that's the really cool thing about this. So just keep going, reach out to your sponsor for help. We are all here. And there's so much room for growth. You guys, our company is doing a lot of amazing things. We're looking at a lot of momentum coming. There are cool things coming, momentum meetups, there's new products, there's all kinds of cool things coming. And corporate has really looked into a lot of these things and looked at the strength of their people or their company is in their leaders. And that is why we are pushing for so much growth, so much leadership, so much of all of that. We want to share this with everyone because we just want everybody to do well. So on that note, I'm going to be quiet and keep excited for this weekend.
All right, I'll touch on one thing here that Elizabeth shared earlier, and that was, will you lose your job because you didn't develop your team, or will you lose it because you're not developing? And just recently in my work life, it's not that I'm losing my job, it's I'm kind of like in shock that I'm losing people on my team. And at first it was like, is it me? Is it something I'm doing? And then I got to thinking, well, maybe it's because I've developed them to the point where they can move on. And it's going to happen yet again as I see job openings happening and I've got 2 people applying for positions that they want to move on to better things. And it's like, huh, okay, well, now I've got the opportunity to practice going through the levels, level 1 positional with new people that come on my team and develop more leaders. So it's a great book, and I'm thoroughly enjoying it. I'm on call.
For work?
No.
Oh, okay. Do you have
All righty. Anybody else got anything brilliant to say? If not, and it comes to you later, it's a great opportunity to make a video or write up a post for the team page. That's my TED Talk right there. All right. Thanks for getting on, you guys. I think we have, I don't know, a couple more weeks of this book. 3, well, there's no call on Thanksgiving. So like 2 and then 1. Nicole's keeping me in line. So excited. And I'm going to be getting the new book announcement up like tomorrow is the plan.